Hey, 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 it is Monday. Welcome back. We are going to dive right into the bell ringer. In case you forgot or you missed my video on Thursday, I'm now going to walk us through the bell ringer so we know how to tackle these questions and to make your life a little bit easier. All right, so let's go through this first. First, it says study the diagram. Okay, let's do that. Here's this big diagram. It's a little hard to see because it's a picture of a picture, so it's a little faded. But we have our big X-shaped structure. When we see that X shape, we know that is the chromosome. And even if we forgot, they told us. In the middle or the center is the centromere. And again, it's telling us that. We have our gene, and it's pointing on the chromosome. And the gene is pointing toward a protein that's going to make your facial muscle, and that is going to give your face shape. Okay, so we studied the diagram, now what? Based on the diagram, which statement is true? Okay, so we're going to go through each of these statements and decide if it's true or false, and whichever one is true, that's our answer. So starting with A, it says that genes are made up of chromosomes. Now remember, it gave us the diagram. Let's use the diagram to answer our question. So here is our gene, and you see the arrow is pointing toward where the gene will be on this diagram. So our gene is pointing onto a small strip. It's a little hard to see. Can I zoom in? You can kind of see it if you squint. There's a small section or small line. That is where one single gene is going to be. So the genes are all on the chromosome. So really, the chromosome is made up of genes, not the other way around, like A is saying. So A is not going to be the answer. B says that chromosomes contain a single gene. Again, we just talked about this. There are multiple different genes on this chromosome, and they're all different genes. So one gene could be for face shape, like this. One could be for, I don't know, your hand shape, your feet shape. I don't want to think about all that. But that's what a different gene could be. So we know that B is not going to be it either because it has multiple genes. C says that centromeres, and again, that's the center of the chromosome that holds those two strands together. It says that centromeres, hold instructions for how to make proteins. So again, let's look at our diagram. Here we have our protein, and is the centromere pointing toward the protein? No. If you look, the gene is what is going to create or turn into the protein. So remember, your gene codes for proteins. That is one fact that we really want to make sure is locked up tight in our brain. Nothing else, your gene will code for the protein, not the centromere. So we know that C isn't going to be correct either. So D must be the right answer since A, B, and C are wrong, but why? What does D say? Genes are present on chromosomes. Check, we know that because we just talked about that. They're making up the chromosomes, and control traits, get me out of the way, control traits in an individual. So like we just said, your gene will code for a protein, and remember your protein, and just like the diagram shows, is what's going to determine an individual's traits. So this protein for facial muscle, or the muscles like that make up your face, it determines what the shape is going to actually look like what does your face look like. That's all from your proteins. Okay, so make sure you type in your answer and explain why it's right, and don't forget to scroll down and do your direct instruction, and I'll see you there.